Good morning, class 12th. Welcome to yet another session of English, where we are currently doing this lovely chapter, Lost Spring, written by Anis Jung. And till now, through Anis's help, we have been able to discover the stories of stolen childhood. So we had begun with the story of Sahib-e-Alam, who was involved into rag picking, and we came to know that a good chunk of migrants from Bangladesh, Dhaka, and their squatters who have settled illegally in Simapuri, and they are happy there because at least though they do not have a permanent there, they do not have permission, they do not have an ID, but they do have a ration card which puts their name on the voters list, and that ration cards helps them get some grains for their family. So the women say that if they get to go to bed without an aching stomach and with some food in their stomach, then it's any day better than being in the green fields of Dhaka, which no longer exist over there. So we saw that Sahib-e-Alam, a little boy, he was a rag picker. He was sort of okay being that, but then that was not enough because he had to be a partner in survival with his family. So while his story comes to an end, we see that he is now working at a tea stall where he is getting 800 rupees plus all his meals. But the carefree look from his face has disappeared, and that is because Sahib is no longer his own master. The plastic bag belonged to him, but the canister, belongs to the tea shop master. So the child is no longer free, and he is now under the burden of child labor, as we call it. So this was basically about the children who are in this grinding poverty and who have fallen prey to this thing of rag picking. And all these children, no matter wherever you find them, they're dressed up in a similar way, a similar shabby attire, and mostly they are without shoes, they are barefoot. And Anis calls them, an army of barefoot boys, she quotes. And then in the previous session we discovered this new industry of glass making, and Anis took us to Firozabad, which happens to be the hub of the glass blowing industry, and we saw that how approximately 20,000 or now maybe even more children would get out of these dingy cells where they slog their daylight hours close to furnaces in so much of danger, and because their eyes are adjusted to dark more, they are not comfortable in the daylight and they lose their eyesight even before they are adults. And then we come to from being in the slums of Simapuri to coming to the slums of Firozabad. We see that the situations here are not better, not even an inch better if you compare them with Simapuri. They are as bad. The lanes are stinky, they are choked with garbage, and Mukesh's house, as he says, it was a half-built shack. Even his father has worked his whole life really hard, one as being a tailor, then a bangle maker, but he has been unable to send his two boys to school and teach them anything else but for bangle making. And then we see that in bangle making, generations of generations have been part of this, but they are not able to survive from this crushing poverty. They are working really hard. They are slogging day and night. Their working conditions are so bad. They are just not right. But still somehow they are not able to beat poverty and come up. And then we see, we come to know about this little girl Savita, who's really young, and she's sitting with her grandmother and she's soldering the pieces of glasses, and Anis says that she doesn't even realize how auspicious these things are which she is making. And there are so many bangles in Firozabad, in every porch, in every yard, in every house of Firozabad. It seems that they are making bangles for the whole nation. And she says that one fine day maybe Savita would realize कि कितना auspicious it is as part of the Indian suhag when she herself will become a bride, when she will be married. And the lady sitting next to her is also wearing bangles, but unfortunately this woman has lost her eyesight. And this is the biggest health hazard of being associated with the glass making industry. And particularly on page 18, we see Mukesh's grandmother saying that it is a God-given lineage. It cannot be broken. It is his karam. Okay, तो जो डेस्टिनी, जो नियति भगवान ने आपकी जैसी लिख दी है, उसको कोई कैसे बदल सकता है, आप उसको कैसे चेंज कर सकते हैं. So she puts up a question in front of Anis. And though when the story started, Mukesh said that I want to be a motor mechanic. So though he is involved in bangle making, but he has this dream. At least his thing of dreaming has not died. He wants to be a motor mechanic. And we see that the conditions of these people is bad. The town of Firozabad is shanty, as it says. And these people are selling their manufactured, their created bangles on push carts in the lanes of this shanty town, okay? So things are bad, and these bangle makers are impoverished. They are really, really poor, and survival is a challenge. And somehow, because of some reasons XYZ which we do not know till now, they have not been able to rise above poverty. So in today's session, when we begin from page number 19, we will see that what is the reason कि even when these people are better at least than the rag pickers अपना काम कर रहे हैं, but what's the reason कि even when they have their own work, their life is not improving. They are still crushed under poverty. The childhood of these children is again at stake. They're again involved into child labor. They're not going to school. They do not enjoy their childhood, and it is so bad that it takes a toll on their eyesight. They lose their eyesight, and generations of generations. It's 3 generations we saw in the case of Mukesh. Mukesh's father, his elder brother, him. Okay, so 2 generations I would say, or maybe even more, who would have been there, maybe even Mukesh's grandfather, let's say. So generations of generations have been involved in this work of bangle making, but there is no improvement. So now we'll see, Anis would give you an insight. She would give us a reality check that what's the reality. Why is it that these people are not able to, put up their life on a better platform? Or why is it that even when they are slogging so much, Mukesh's father could not send him to school? या वो इतना भी पैसा नहीं बचा पाए कि अपनी घर की छत ठीक करा लेते? So these are certain questions which you will understand now in today's session. It's a very, very important session today because Anis will be actually giving you the reality, the truth of the lives of these people. How is it that even when they are trying so hard, they are not able to come up, okay, from this grinding poverty? So it's an important session today. There is lots that needs to be understood very carefully and with a lot of seriousness. So quickly come to page number 19. I'm sure you're having your book and something to write down and to make notes with. As I begin with the detailed explanation, that happens to be the last part of the story on page number 19 of Lost Spring. So come over and we'll begin the class today.